Hey, everybody, welcome to my guest tonight. I'm your host, Jeff Ravilla. I've got a great guest joining me tonight, a singer, an author, a podcaster, a technologist, an entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Siquoyia Blue.
She's got a rhythm running through her veins, from the motherboard to the midnight stage. Checking tempo, she's breaking the mold, turning first dates into a lifetime of stories told. Stories told. Siquoia Blue, the code of the soul, abstract groove, taking full control, from heart to machine, she's keeping it true. Yeah, we're vibing tonight with Siquoia Blue.
Siquoyia, welcome to the show.
Hello, I love that. That is a cool intro.
It's been a little bit of it's been a great welcome, like an icebreaker. Like, hey, I got the song I wrote for you, and we play it, and it does a lot of foreshadowing too. And what some people tell me is you hear the song at the beginning, but we don't know you yet. But when I play the song in the outro, and you hear all the things that we have talked about, and you hear the song again, it has a whole nother meaning, and people really like it when they hear it the second time.
Yeah, I like it. Did you sing that or?
No, I use AI to do that. I'm just a one-man show here.
I love it. I love it. That's a good idea. Thank you. That's a good idea.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So glad to have you here. I know we had some rescheduling. I had an injury and I've been doing physical therapy and we had to move some things around a couple of times. So I appreciate you being flexible and being
You're
able to be here
welcome.
tonight.
Yeah,
And
thanks for having me.
absolutely. And people watching and listening, they know that this is an origin story podcast. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, we like to go back. We want to see who Siquoyia was to see who she became and that little journey, the ups and downs, and connect those dots all the way through. And we know that we already mentioned some of the titles I gave you already: singer, author, podcaster, technologist, entrepreneur. And we're going to get through all of those in 30 minutes. But if you go back to your earliest days, was performing and singing, like when you were a child, was that really your first inspiration?
Yes, I'm just gonna be quick with it because I can talk a lot. But yes, that was my first inspiration, was my music, and that was the thing that I thought I was gonna just do alone. Like I thought all I was gonna be able to do was do music because I thought that was my only talent. So yeah, I started singing at a young age, at like 7 years old, and then I started taking it seriously around 13, 14, or 15, and that's when I started like trying to figure out how to make a career out of it somehow, but I didn't know nothing about the industry or anybody.
Were you always like performing for friends and family and bringing people over to the house? Like, hey, we're gonna do a show at 7 o'clock tonight. Were you
Oh,
doing a lot of those types of things as a child?
it was strangers. It wasn't anybody. I was in a daycare. I was a daycare kid, so I was always at the YMCA just singing, to the kids, or rapping. I memorized raps or whatever, and I would just entertain people because I felt like the bullies would get quiet when I entertained them. So that's what I used to do. And there'd be different daycares, and then and sometimes I would, of course, perform for my mom. Like my mom would support me, and she liked to told me to practice different songs, but it was mainly daycares in the early years.
Were you thinking of not just like pop hits and things you heard on the radio and trying to emulate them? Were you also coming up with your own songs and your own words and telling your own stories?
Yes. So I didn't know back then I was writing stuff, but it didn't occur to me I could write. It was like I was writing stuff for school. But then I wrote my first song. I wrote a lot of songs in my journal, but I think the first song I put out was Chocolate Man. I was 15 years old, and I wrote the song, Fontana, California. My mom was doing a nursing contract out there, and I felt inspired. I had a young lady out there that inspired me. Like my music calmed her down, so she kind of pushed me to write, and I did, and that was my first song I ever written.
And whenever, when you weren't in daycare anymore, when you started school and you had, nights and weekends, did you start performing at venues or?
I had stage fright, so I
Yep.
really was on and off with it. I had very bad stage fright. I was a shy girl, and I'm still so shy now, but not like I was back then. my early years, I was so shy. I was a shy, awkward kid. So I really didn't start performing till probably high school. I went to Woodside School of Performing Arts in Virginia. So I started like doing poetry and singing at the talent shows. So that was like my introduction to do it. But I still wasn't 100 with it because I was still shy. So I didn't perform as much as I could have. But that was my experience till I went to college, first college.
What was college a place where you started to get more comfortable on stage?
Yeah, my first college in Artistry, Atlanta. I was like, I want to go to school for audio productions. I said, a lot of times, you try to do music, people are like, oh, it might not be a job in there, da da da. So I went to Artistry, Atlanta, and I started doing more performances there. I used to perform at a coffee shop called Urban Grind in Atlanta, down the street from where I used to stay at. And so that was like my thing. Every Thursday night, I would go either sing or do a poetry or do both. And it was relaxing. It was that introduction.
Was there a moment, one of these, nights out at a club or a restaurant, a bar, where you started to realize, hey, maybe this is more than just something I love to do, or more than just a hobby? Was there anything that jumps out at you?
It was really when I was 15 when I first wrote the song Chocolate Man. I was like, okay, I want to perform this. And then when I went to my first college, when I was performing at Urban Grind Atlanta, I don't know if that's still open. That'd be interesting. But I used to perform there all the time. And it was that moment where I was like, I want to do this full time. I don't want to be at a regular job. And like, I didn't feel like I was a 9 to 5 girl. But yeah, that was the moment where I was trying to take it seriously and give me a gig or something.
And after you developing the gigs in your own style, did you come up with a style, or merge genres together to come up with your own sound?
It was crazy because in my early 20s, it was always everybody's in a niche. And I realized it wasn't about just music, but people want to always niche you down. So they were like, oh, you need to do R&B, like do some pop, whatever was popular at the time. And I was following the trend. I was trying to do it because I didn't think I could do anything else at the time because all I knew was music and writing my music. So I said, okay, I'm going to try to do this. But then I didn't like it. I got bored. I didn't like trying to be somebody I wasn't. I was trying to, and music industry is tough, so you have to like it because it's work and you deal with a lot of people, you deal with a lot of stuff that's going on, and you don't want to end up doing something you don't want to do and be stuck. So that was when I changed and started changing my genre around 25, 26 when I figured out who I was with music.
Is that where you coined the term the abstract soul?
Yeah, 20, I think it was 26. Yeah, it was 26, 27. I said abstract soul. I put my foot on it because I didn't want to say avant-garde because I felt like I wasn't weird enough for avant-garde, but I was like, I was dancing on the line of it because some people thought my music was out of the box. But when you get all these streaming platforms, you realize you're pretty much not out of the box. There's a lot of people that's doing all out of the box stuff. So you're not the only one. So that's when I was strong enough to push abstract soul in hopes of maybe others can come out and be who they truly are.
And you're doing this while you're going to college. Were you still studying the arts in college, or had you pivoted your?
Well, no. So yeah, so the Art School of Atlanta, I didn't even finish that school because it was a predatory school, and I didn't know what I was doing. I went to a college. I didn't want to go to Clayton because it was Clayton State or Art School of Atlanta, and I just didn't want a normal school. I was like, oh, I want to do some hands-on. So I thought that was the only route, because I didn't know anybody around me that did music. So my folks were nurse practitioners. So then I said, okay, let me go on ahead and go to Art School Atlanta. And then I got beat up. I'm not beat up, but I got played and I didn't finish that particular school. So after that, I'm pursuing music more at that point.
And at some point you come across with this career in IT. And I was seeing if it was that right after the college years, was it during college? Or how did you get involved into that space?
Unbeknownst to me, I was always technical, unbeknownst to me. But I didn't know, I thought tech was Harvard, MIT, I didn't think that I could do it because in my mind, I didn't like school. I really didn't. And then, so what happened was, I think I was 27 and there was a program and I ended up applying to a tech institute, Pacific Technology. And technology was not on my drawing board, but I knew how to do technology. And then I went to the program. It was a 3-month intense program. The government paid for it. And I came out and my salary jumped up and I was able to just be more of me in music. And I had a lot of people that say, oh, well, you shouldn't do more than one thing and da, da, da. But I realized that some people have to do multiple things, especially one that's doesn't want to be under someone's mercy. I want to be in charge. I don't want to be at someone's mercy. So tech was my way to be free with music.
And you talk about this balance between art and tech, and there are some similarities and some crossover. Sometimes being in IT, you got to be creative to think of solutions to people's problems. So, how do you balance that, and do these worlds cross at all?
They cross, and it's crazy because people wouldn't know. They think you're doing something totally different, but they're all together. And I remember at the time, my mentor at the time said, everything's connected. They're all together. And I started getting more into, when I started working in tech and all that, my left and right brain worked for me. I was able to come up with stuff quick, like, because I'm an artist. I make stuff from out of nowhere. So tech was the same way. Things were made up by a rule. You can follow the rule or you can change the rule. So it was the same thing of creating your own situation in tech.
And you see that, maybe the art inspires the tech, but does the tech also inspire the art? Thinking different out of the box at work, does it also inspire your art?
Well, I don't think work inspires my art, but I do think technology inspires my art. Like regular jobs don't. But when it comes down to like the 9 to 5, it's a 9 to 5. But when it comes down to tech itself, I always say music is my husband and tech is my side piece, because that's what I say. Music is my husband, tech is my side piece, because tech just helps me with the music side and draws me together, made me a better engineer, made me want to experiment more. Because my latest song, Whiskey, I was the producer. I created the beat. And that was something, and I wasn't someone that's classically trained to be the best audio engineer. I just went by vibes and intuition, and how I do in tech, I'm pushing buttons. I'm going to figure out why. I'm going to click the button and see what happens. And that's the same thing with audio engineering. It's like my tech helped me with that side to do that.
Singing, you're studying IT, you got IT professional. You don't stop creating at all. You pick up pen and paper, you start writing during this time too. Tell us a little bit about some of the stories and books that you've written.
Well, it's crazy because like during the time when I had to leave my first college, I got depressed and I said, well, I need some creative outlet. I couldn't afford to go to studios and stuff. And then at the time, a lot of people were hitting on you at studios. So you didn't want to go by yourself. Your parents working. So I said, let me do something to get this energy out. So I created my first book. It was a romance thriller. And I came up with the idea when I was working at the airport, because I was working at the airport after I left Arts Atlanta, and I remember this lady comes out the airport, off the plane, because I was a wheelchair assistant. And I was waiting on my passenger. She was coming out the plane, and she was just so gorgeous and regal. I just imagined her life. I said, man, she looks like she got it going on. I would like to be like her when I grow up. And I was only 20 years old. So I created a whole story around her of what her life would be like. And I called it, the first title was A Woman's Chocolate Appetite Becomes Enslavement, but now it's called Dark Obsession. It's called Dark Obsession. And when I first wrote it, I didn't know crap about editing because I was a singer. I didn't know what, I was like, I just knew I'd write a story. Okay, put it on. I didn't think anybody would find it on Amazon. They did. I got brutalized because people say my editing was bad. So then when I got to tech, that's when I was able to fix the book. So the book is now fixed. Nobody has a problem with it. Because the story itself was good. It was always good, but I just needed a big boy editor. And I only could afford that when I got into the tech realm. I was able to pay the big boy editor. And then, so that was my first book. And then I wrote a children's book called Sammy Bean. It was about bullying. And it kind of took you back to this nostalgic playground situation before kids had phones and, they're on iPhone. Kids were in a playground chilling and trying to fit in. So, that's about a boy named Sammy Bean trying to bully Monty King, and Monty's not having it. And he kind of brings peace into the playground. So that was my children's book. That one did fine because that one was edited by somebody professional. So that one did really good. I still could push it more. And that's why I'm doing this podcasting. And then I did 2 coloring books. So I did 2 coloring books that I released. This was recently released, like maybe like 2 years ago. I said, let's do an adult coloring book because a lot of people are stressed out, and it's a lot going on. People have a lot going on. And I said, sometimes you need something to just focus on. And I felt like the coloring books were great for adults and kids too, if they want one, but it's for adults.
Did the lead character in your children's book, did he borrow any of your superpowers from your time in daycare? Was entertaining kind of the way that he handled the bullies? No,
it's crazy because I have another children's book called it's another children's book. I can't remember the name of it. What was it called? Oh, well, I didn't write that. That one's not out yet, but that one's about music. Monty King is just it's magical fantasy. So it's like more fantasy, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, the Soul Brothers, my other children's book that I'm gonna be putting out, that one is musical. It's
Yeah.
and magical. So I'm excited about that one whenever I can put that out. I'm trying to see when. But that one's good.
And between all of that, you've come up with this board game or a card game,
Yeah.
the dating assassin game, which I was reading through some of the cards. It's a great like little icebreaker.
Oh, you
What
bought
was
it?
I didn't buy it yet.
Oh, oh,
No, you have pictures of the cards online. I
oh,
think
oh, oh,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
I can see some sample cards, and uh, I've been married 20 years. I'm not doing any ice breaking anymore, but the questions were great, and they're a great way when you're just meeting somebody to kind of break
Yeah,
that ice and get to know people pretty quick. You can get some good answers
yeah,
right away. What was
yeah.
kind of what was the inspiration behind creating dating assassin?
Well, it's crazy because I was a gamer all my life. I love games. I was when I was a kid, I would play Sega, Nintendo, and I was beating everybody. I was a beast, and so I always loved games. And then, um, in 2017, I got out of a really bad relationship, and I said, "What would it be if I could like ask the right questions and blame it on a card game?" You know, because I feel like a lot of people get in situations and they didn't ask the right questions. So that's why I created that card game. And then I was working in LA at a tech company in 2018, and I remember the guys were talking there. I was the only woman in there, so that's why I said this is questions that guys want to know too. Believe it or not, sometimes people think it's just women, but no, these are men that said they want to know. So I asked a few men in there what they want to know about the a woman they're potentially trying to get with, and they told me. And then I had my own, and I asked the women, and then I asked my mother that was married for like 20 years before her husband died, and she told me some questions she would have liked to ask her husband. So I put all these things together and created these 150 questions to vet the potential partner. But I didn't want it to be, I wanted to be light but serious too, because people act like, I think one person on Amazon, oh well, nobody wants to know if somebody has a dog or cares about a dog. First of all, yes, they do. People will break up over. If you watch Married at First Sight right now, they're arguing about a dog. So yeah, they want to know: do you have a dog or a cat, or do you care about a dog or cat? Like the point is to invoke communication. Even if the question is like you already knew it, the point is to say to elaborate,
Mhm.
and it's to bring something out that maybe you're hiding, and that's what we're trying to do.
Have you had any reports of people using the game in ways you didn't anticipate? Are people doing anything different with the cards than you expected?
Well, I just had someone say that they were taking shots. So if someone didn't want to answer the question, they
Oh,
just made them take a shot. So you can add the shot part in there if you want. I think people, here's the thing, once you get the game, you can mix it up the way you want. You can like it's so many different ways you can do it. I mean, and so I think that's the thing about it, because people be like, and I had to update the instructions maybe a year ago so people can know that, because some people think that you have to do it the way I say do it, but it's once you get the game, it's your game. Mix it up, do your thing.
any love connections that have come from the game? That has anybody written you and say that we had the best first date all because of dating
No,
assassin?
I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice. Tell me, because I've had people buy it, but I don't. They're not saying anything. I mean, you know, I mean, it'd be nice to get. And that's why I'm trying to market it more. I'm not going to say I'm a one woman show with this card game. If I had more, I guess investors, something like that, it would be pushed more. So I just think that that's the downfall of it right now, is being a. But there's no time to start a business, no best time. So I want to start now so I can just learn it and get it out there. But yeah, if I had more, I guess, marketing dollars, it would probably be bigger.
So you have all these titles I was giving you, the podcaster, entrepreneur, artist, technologist. How are you still keeping these identities, moving forward and independent? And maybe they are influencing each other in some way, but how do you
Well,
manage
there.
all this?
Well, here's the thing, with AI, and then me being a multi, I can do multiple things at one time, but also everything's not at the same time. So music, I don't do every day. I might write down something and say, okay, I'm going to do this, but I have a recording time that I say, okay, I'm going to record this on this day or 2 days and work on this song. And that's that. But I don't have to sing every day. I have a studio in the house. I have my own studio, like a, small studio. Cause now with technology, you don't need a big studio. You just, need have good equipment. So I have a good studio. And then the card game, I just keep consistent posting. I have AI help me. I created my own dating assassins GPT. If you guys don't know what GPT is, it's like a little AI helper that you can create using OpenAI. And so she I call her she, but she creates my content for me. And I post it on Instagram, I correct it or whatever I got to do. And I kind of set a schedule out for consistent posting. So when I do run an ad, it's already enough content they can binge on. And that's that. I think, and then everything else is like, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. It's all, once you off work, you do your thing, but everything is set up. And I make time for myself because one thing I had to learn. I do watch my movies. I love movies. If you listen to my podcast, you'll probably know. I talk about movies because I feel like it relates to life because my podcast is about challenging your perspective. And so, but I do need to make more time for podcasting because that one is more, I guess, it's just more energy than everything else is because it's a lot of people that want to join and interview, you want to be on the show and stuff. And I've been doing a lot of solo episodes because it's easy for me to just jump on the mic and not show myself and just talk. But I know that I do want to interview guests sometime and I do want to do that. And that's one thing I'm slacking on. So I am going to get into that. But yeah, that's how I balance it is everything is all at different times.
And do you find podcasting as another creative outlet? Like maybe, you're working all day, you're coming home, maybe you're tired, but podcasting allows you to get those thoughts, those ideas out into the real world.
Yes, it really does. Like when I talk about, because I love books and stuff and, and lately I've been reading more and all this stuff and I'll share my perspective of the story and how it relates to society and culture. So that's what I do. And it's amazing. It's like a release. So it's a dopamine hit in a way. And I'm not paying for any ads for it either. Like I'm not paying for ads or nothing. I'm just sharing it and that's it. Sharing on Instagram and stuff. But yeah, no marketing for it.
And what kind of advice, I mentioned these titles a couple of times already, but what would you give to, somebody up and coming, a new creator, somebody who has these ideas and doesn't know what to start or how to start? What kind of advice maybe would you give yourself, a few years ago to keep trying new things, new creative outlets?
You know what? Well, for the new person out there, I would say, go do it. I mean, there's never a perfect time. And then research strategy, understand marketing. Don't just because you have money don't mean you're going to blow up neither. So you have to understand marketing, who your audience is and what you're trying to do. And then you got to believe in it. You got to stand 10 toes down and you got to do the work. And it doesn't have to be 24/7. Learn automation, learn AI, learn processes and procedures. And then you don't have to be sitting around doing it all the time for whatever you're trying to do. And just believe in yourself and do it. There's no perfect time. And then for me, what I would recommend for myself in the past is I don't think I would change anything because I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't have learned what the heck I learned, but I would say, just stay confident. And I would always in the past, tell my past self, stay confident, man, because life is going to beat you up. Stay confident and move, keep moving regardless.
You mentioned the book coming out soon, another children's book coming out.
Yeah.
What do you have working on next? What's Siquoyia going to be releasing and working on in the next, 2 to 3 years?
Oh man, oh Lordy. Well, you know what? It's crazy because I want to say 2, 3. I want to say it, but things change and shift. But what I want to do is definitely, do some more podcasting. I might start Dating Assassins podcast because it's going to be, an interview and dating people only. It's dating people. It's dating stories, and then ask questions from the card game to the people that join and promote the game that way. But also people get to hear stories and stuff. I'm continue my blog and podcast. I'm trying to continue posting weekly, rather solo or with a guest, and continue doing my tech stuff. I love tech. Like I said, it's my side piece. So I'm always going to be studying my tech, my certs, my training, and adding it to continue to grow Dating Assassins. I use it into my music. I do want to do another song soon. I want to do another single, and I'm going to be working on that too. So I want to work on another single that I produce. But yeah, that's it so far for the next 2 years. But I hope to shoot for the moon.
Yeah,
shoot for the moon.
I do think your idea for a Dating Assassins podcast is a great idea. I think you could get some traction with that.
I was thinking that too. I mean, I said, and it's just that I just gotta figure out the timing stuff, and I'm gonna use of course Podmatch to get the people because I don't want to use influencers and go on back. I don't know if you're at a backstage, but you can hire different people to do stuff. But I'm gonna stick to Podmatch. So I'm gonna have 2 accounts. So soon I'll be the Dating Assassins podcast will be on Podmatch for all the dating gurus can join and all that stuff. And it's just going to be about dating, but it's not going to be as consistent as the Blockers podcast. So most likely be like twice a month interviews.
Yeah.
And that's that.
A great way to promote the game and to show people, you're actually using it in real time. So people get to see how it works, and they might think, oh, this would be a great thing, for my partner or my spouse.
Yes. Another thing I want to say is I do want to do a tech card game, not card game, but tech knowledge deck in the future. So I am gonna do that in the future. Once Dating Assassins get out there a little more, I'm going to do that.
Awesome. And people want to follow along and keep up with you. What's the best way to get in contact with you or to reach out to you?
Well, my Instagram is Blockman's Podcast, and you just go to in my Instagram Blockman's Podcast, and you can also go to Dating Assassins Instagram as well. So both of those you'll get me. And then my Substack. I just started Substack, so you can subscribe there. I'll keep you updated. I put all my episodes on Substack, which is all new to me. I just started learning Substack, so everybody's doing it evidently. So I'm like, okay, let me do it too. So people join and follow. So I have 2 Substacks. So I have Siquoyia Blue, which is for the music side and the AI side. And then I have Blockman's Podcast, which is for the podcast side. So it's 2 different newsletters in there when you go. And all that's in my Comey, my link tree that I have. I think it's sequoia.comey.io, I think.
Yeah, I have the links. The links will be in the show notes. Yeah, it should be
on Podmatch. Yeah.
Yeah, and check the show notes of this show. This will be on YouTube in your podcast app. Check out Siquoia's links. Follow along. This is an amazing story. A lot of things, a lot of hats, right? We're wearing a lot of hats and that creative process. Some people I have to do things all the time, and I can 1000% relate to you, Siquoia. You need those outlets, and it's so healthy and it's so much fun to be able to create these things and put them out in the world. And this has been a great half hour. Siquoia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I had so much fun, and thanks everybody for listening.
Let's go back to that theme song.
She's got a rhythm running through her veins, from the motherboard to the midnight